Yes.
There is no need.
Yes.
That is why it is happening, yeah? We are together. That is why it is happening.
No. There is a very thin line, but there is a line.
And what is that?
It is invisible, yeah?
I agree with boss. I think it's an invisible line. I think they're merged.
There is no
and
line.
art makes design and design makes art. I mean, it has to work together in unison.
But Puneet doesn't
Not
agree.
at all.
Say why.
Clearly, when it comes to art is something that is so individualistic. It is a very narcissistic approach of an individual that is their own perspective and their own point of view. Whereas design is definitely about giving some comfort at some level to some individual or a piece that is catered to somebody. Design is not individually.
Let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Art is actually, it is for everyone. And everybody work together nowadays. And
Nowadays.
it's like,
Nowadays.
Certainly not annual fest.
You are 14th century or 15th century.
It's not the question of
It's-
that.
It's kind of the studio practices are moved out.
Definitely.
Right? Now, when we look at art, everybody is working together. It's kind of social project.
But
here it is two.
But art is not definitely
It is not at all narcissistic.
No, at some level it is. Because art is definitely something where...
But design can be equally narcissistic.
It is. But you are definitely catering to some requirement, right? You're making a mug, you can't make it into something like which is non-existent, right? Or a chair for that example. But it has to have some functionality of a chair. It can't be,
Okay, Alex, what are your views? Does art have a function?
I haven't figured this out.
You have
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like floating.
Is there a difference between art and design for you?
Certainly there is.
And what would that difference be and why?
So a design, I think, is a way of organizing, it's a structure, and art is a thought. So how you put that thought in a structure, and I think everything requires both design and art.
Then you put the thought into that structure.
So you need a structure for everything. You need a structure for language. You need a structure to make things. So I think they're two different things, and all of us need to have both to make things happen. No. So what I'm saying is that even an artist uses design to manifest whatever they're trying to say and do. So I think it's not mutually exclusive. I think every act requires both.
Okay, fantastic. Any closing thoughts?
It is a both combination has to be very balanced. Without craftsman and design, so it is difficult to create an art. And designer also, without creativity, cannot make that. It's very good combination both. So we cannot separate certain level. So that's my.
Okay, fantastic.
But I would like to just add here, I feel with both art and design, you can literally turn it on its head. Art can become ulta and so can design, which is why here, particularly, we really wanted chairs to literally come out of the ceiling and the walls as well. For me, chair, as a designer, as an interior designer, for me, a chair is probably the most iconic piece in the house, and I feel it makes a piece. So I could have very simple furniture or no furniture, but if I have that one iconic chair, it could be an Anne Jacobson chair or a Cartel piece or a Corbusier chair. For me, that is the most important piece in the house.
How do you all go about thinking of artists and designers? I mean, where did that come from?
So, I think Sonali had the initial concept of merging the two professions, if I may call it, together. It was all about seating and chairs and stuff. I think we actually looked for similarity, but also we looked for people who are at poles apart in a way, in thought processes.
Fantastic.
So when we married them, we had conceptualized in our mind that it would be something that they would come up with a material. For example, Gurjeet's piece, because he works so much with concrete, we thought his base would be concrete, but then that didn't happen. Same with Bose and Alex, we thought it would be steel and color, but it's completely the opposite. So I think it's been a very, very fresh perspective.
Actually, for Anita and me, this is like third in a series of collaborations. Both the previous ones have been architectural. So in a sense, I got to take the lead on that. But it kind of followed the same path in as much as it started with a series of conversations between her and me. And in a sense, there's a very strong aspect in her work that questions the sense of duality and these ideas of twos. And in architecture, there's a lot of binary in that, inside, outside, solid, soft, whatever. So that's where it started from, and that's why ours is actually a two-seat kind of diptych, because alone a seat is exclusive. The moment you have two seats, it's more conversational. Yeah, so that's where it kind of started from, the thinking on that, yeah.
Do you want to quickly talk about the whole experience of collaboration and whose authorship is the work that is finally there? How do you decide that? How do you go about that?
I mean, the entire idea for me for chairs and seating itself is to stop and to think from that, to create from that, and to act from that. And the entire idea of the cause, which we've not really talked about yet, is really close to me as well.
I think we all as people need a break from day-to-day things which we are used to doing, and for me that was the biggest pleasure in doing this collaboration. Be it makes me think. So you go more deeper when you start collaborating, and I think art and design collaborations they usually turn out very beautiful.
We collaborated with Marc Antonio. So we collaborated as a brand. Suman and I, we own the brand Scarlet Splendor. And Marc Antonio is very famous. He's the key designer for Seletti and Kibu. And he's come on board. And so we are presenting like a huge collection with him at Salone in 2020. This is like a preview where almost all the objects and things that he designs are kind of nature oriented, which is part animal, tree, nature, leaf, objects. So, when we put forward this conceptual chair and the 10 chairs thing, he said, why don't we spin off one of the trees cabinets that he's designed into a conceptual piece like this. So the material that we used here is pretty revolutionary.
I've always done experimental things and shows in the gallery. So this was actually quite an exciting idea for me to have designers and artists come together, and I was waiting to see really what comes out of this whole show, and quite happy with what I think Sonali has mentioned. Like when you see Carl and Gurjeet's work, it's absolutely, like one was not expecting this. Or you see Alex and Bose also. I was just not expecting so many things. Even Martand also. With Gunjan Gupta, I was expecting something else. You expect the same, but the way all of them have taken the whole idea into a completely different form and a different material and medium. So that is what is very, very exciting. And for me, it's basically getting together designers, and which I've been thinking for a very long time. So that's why.
I think it's both, because the object has to appeal to them, because artworks are also very subjective, and something that you like I may not, and vice versa. But I think it's also very good to support it for the cause as well. So I don't think people will think that I'm buying this for a cause. That's the secondary, and it's also going to help. But of course, is to own that piece of artwork which is not going to be duplicated or made ever again. It's such a one-off piece, so I think to connect that to a cause is something that's quite amazing.
Fantastic.
Tell us some fun anecdotes. It'll be great for audience to know.
So I'll just narrate one. So I'm of a slightly anxious nature. So I was like, Puneet, we need to do this. 1. Puneet, you need to do this. 2. Puneet, I've done it. 3. So come down and see what we're gonna do. And I think Puneet got into panic mode and he came, whatever. And then he comes and whatever I did, he says, nah. And then he goes into my trash yard and he says, and then literally both of us said, okay, let's do this and let's do that. And how the chair happened, I really don't know. Puneet, to you?
No, I the chair done. I know there was blood.
Oh, there was some blood.